Can everybody hear me? Okay. So I'm looking out here and I just want everybody, there's no PowerPoint, there's no taking notes, okay? It's me and you. Now when I say you, I mean I'm talking way back in the back row, those of you that are hiding and trying to take your little notes. I'm talking to all of you guys, okay? And what Denise had to say is really important, and I see the front rowers are like, yes, yes, and then the back rows are like, I know. So I want you to be honest for a second, and then I'll tell you my story, because, you know, we hear all this stuff, but then what do we want? What do we want to know? We want to know application, like what does this mean, right? What does everything actually mean? And I'm going to use myself as an example in a second, but raise your hand if you feel like you take good care of yourself. Good care? We're gonna get to that in a second. So raise your hand if you feel like you know you need to take better care of yourself. Okay. So some of you didn't answer, but I do. I'll get into what I do as well. So I am what you want to call a serial entrepreneur. Okay. Before I graduated from college, I had already started my own accounting business at the age of 20. I started hiring people at 21. Within a few months, I had over 100 tax clients after a couple of years, and about 15 to 20 business management clients. I started hiring people, and I was like, ooh, this is good. And okay, so let's be truthful, okay? We women have a serious affliction. Does anybody know what it is? We do this because a long time ago, someone said that women are not as smart as good as men. Right? Somewhere in the back of our head, we knew that we didn't make as much money. We knew that we weren't taken as seriously. So can you imagine a 21 little black girl walking into your office with my books, like, oh, I'm doing your books, and everyone's like, where's the real accountant? So I felt like I had to prove myself at every moment. So what I did was, I had to work harder, and I was like, I can do it. Oh, I can do this, I can do that, I can do more. I was staying up, I was dreaming numbers, and I was like, oh my God, I'd get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and start working just to stay on top of it. And then in the middle of this, I had this brilliant idea. I had this passion for exercise and wellness. I'm like, I'm gonna open up a spin studio. I had the first spin studio in the Valley in Los Angeles. So you all know about SoulCycle, blah, blah, blah. My spin studio, which is now turned into the wellness studio, has now been open 20 years. 20. Before SoulCycle, before Flywheel and all these places, 20 years. And I knew it was gonna be big then. But I didn't want to give up my accounting because I was like, well, that's where I make all my money. I want to make sure I'm still making money, right? We all have that fear, right? So I decided I'm going to keep this business going. But I knew that this accounting was sort of killing me. So I slowly started weaning out of this accounting. And through a series of errors on my part, I had to move my spinning studio to a different location. But in Los Angeles, where I had a great spot. So I decided that I was going to open a day spa. Are you keeping track of these businesses, by the way? Anybody? I still got my accounting. I'm trying to weed it out. I moved my exercise studio to a different location, a bigger location, 4,000 square feet, and I started building that out. And I got this idea now about this day spa. There's no day spas in my area. So I got this business going over here, 3 weeks building out a 4,000 square foot from the ground up. 3 weeks, it was open. The next Monday, I told all those contractors, get your butt over there and start building my day spa. Yes, you hear this? This is a true story. And this is me. I can do it. No one's gonna tell me I'm not good enough. I can do it. I can make money and I can do what I want. I can do it all. And guess what? I don't need any help. I don't need any help. I can do this myself. Well, I was wrong. Okay, I was wrong. I thought I took care of myself. I exercised, I ate well. The amount of stress that all that gave me was ridiculous. It took a very big toll on my health. So this is one thing I'm here to tell you about. All these people here and the women that come up here, they're amazing. But if you take them in the back in the corner, they're gonna tell you, oh my God, the amount of stress that I have, even just getting here today. There's pregnant women up here, there's people that are leaving their kids. But I'm gonna tell you something. I got extremely ill. I almost died. And I was ignoring it. I was running back and forth. I was telling everybody, people used to say, how do you run these two businesses? And I was like, well, you know, they're only a mile apart. I just drive back and forth and like I my phone and I thought it was great. And I was telling all these people that I had these businesses going. And I did my own accounting because who could do it better than me? I was an accountant. So I'm doing all those books, payroll. And one day I knew something was wrong. I'm like, I don't feel well. So I go to the doctor, which I never did because I didn't believe in doctors, but you gotta go sometimes. So I go to the doctor and I'm sitting there with my legs crossed and I'm looking kind of like the same like this, thinner. And I'm like, well, you know, what's wrong? And she's like, you're the sickest person I've ever seen, like standing. And I go, what do you mean? So she started to rattle off what was wrong with me. She's like, well, you're in thyroid storm, which means you could have a heart attack at any moment. So I'm gonna put you on a beta blocker. And she starts talking and all of a sudden I can't even like hear her. You might have thyroid cancer. You have 16 nodules on your on your thyroid. You've got cysts on your kidneys. You got a fatty gallbladder and you got jaundice and some kind of liver problem that I can't even tell right now. So I'm sending you to UCLA today. And I was like, what? My brain went like, what? And then as soon as I got in my car, I was shaking and I said, okay, I get it. I did this to myself. I did this to myself. And I had to turn it all around. I had to have a little conversation with myself and to say, I called my assistant at my spa. I said, you won't see me for 6 months. They told me, you need to lay down for like 14 hours a day if you want to get better. And I went to like 6 doctors and they all said the same thing. And I went to holistic doctors who said the same thing. They all looked at me like I was crazy and they're like, the only way this is possible is if you are under extreme amount of stress and you've neglected yourself. And I was like, I was mortified, I was horrified. So I began the road back to myself of beginning to take care of myself. So what I'm here to tell you, and I'm telling you my story because I want you guys to know, I got good news and bad news about today. Here's the good news. You can open your own business. You hear me? Everybody, even you in the back row that are hiding, you can do it. You wanna know what the bad news is? You can open your own business. Okay? You can. But if you don't have a balance, a mental balance, and I'm going to tell you in a second about how I can help you with that, and what I do for my clients now, and how I shifted my business as I sold my spa finally, and I just concentrate now on my wellness and fitness and nutrition that I bring to my clients. And what I do with my clients is I help them become whole. Okay, because people were coming to me with their bodies and they were getting sick, and I was like trying to separate it and deal with just the physical part, and I was like, wait a minute. Oh no, you're still mad at your mother. That's why you're not getting better. And now you got to deal with that. So the thing that I'm here to tell you is, I'm going to give you guys some tools. I'm going to look at the clock because I was really bad last year. I went over. I'm doing better. But I'm going to give you guys some tools. Some of the stuff you can write down, but I really want you just to actually hear me with your open heart. Because I have been in business for a very long time. Like you heard me, I started before, when I was 20 years old. Business is changing to what I'm calling a mindful business. And if you don't create a mindful business for yourself, you won't be successful. It'll kill you. So all you women out there, we're terrible, aren't we? You know, men used to go and, sorry Joe, anybody other men out there? Men would go and get a job and the women would stay home and do all this stuff, right? And the men would be able to like concentrate on their job, and most of them don't, they can't multitask, let's face it. Men have a hard time multitasking. But we women, they would go to the job and come home and they'd be thinking, and we were like putting the food in front of them, ironing their clothes and putting the stuff out and watching the kids and taking them, and then they're like, thanks honey, and then we're like, hey, we want to work. But then what happened to us? We're still cleaning and watching the kids and, cooking. We didn't take away anything. We didn't take away anything. We just added shit on our plate, right? And this is why, by the way, and I'm saying this to you, because we're talking about you, that when people get up here and say things about, like, oh, just change your diet, and you're like, yeah, I know. I hear this all the time. I see this hand do this. Yeah, I know, I have to do it. Where's Pauline? Pauline, where are you? There she is. Girl, I'm talking to you. Because she was really honest when she got up here and she said, honestly, I don't do such a good job at taking care of myself. And then she said, she had some lame excuse. Yes, I'm calling you out, girl. Well, I exercise sometimes. But I'm going to tell you, if you want to be successful at a business, you have to incorporate this mindful part. And I'm going to tell you, I have what I call the 5 basics. Okay, you guys can write this down if you want. If you don't, you can just listen, okay? This is really important. Number 1, I start this with all my clients. And if you're doing these 5 things, you won't lose your mind. Because by the way, this is the 3rd year in a row the life expectancy of the US has dropped. And they say they don't see it changing. And you can't, and I'm here to tell you, you can't run a business if you don't feel well. I mean, I really did have to sell my spa because I got sick. So this is really, really, really important. This is a very important component of running your business. I remember someone told me once, your business will only be as good as you feel that day. I was like, oh hell. Oh no, I'm in trouble. So I'm gonna tell you the 5 basics, and if you guys stick to this will help you. First thing, just like Denise said, it's the food. The one reason the doctor said that I wasn't dead, and by the way, my cousin died of what I had, yeah, that's how serious it was. The only reason why is because they're like, your food is so good. I was juicing every day, taking supplements and exercising, so that saved me, okay? So this is really important. You don't have to kill yourself with the exercise, but the exercise is really important. Exercise, food and diet is number 2. Water is so important. Like the water thing, like you were saying, Denise, is so important. People forget that they don't think that they don't know what's wrong with them. Your brain cells start to die and shrivel without water, by the way. So when you're starting to get confused and brain foggy, check your water content, okay? So first, exercise. Second, you don't have to kill yourself with the exercise. Second, food and diet. Denise can talk more on that if you want to talk to her later. Third thing, sleep. They're now contributing Alzheimer's, and my mother has Alzheimer's, and if you want to add something else to my thing, I take care of my mother with Alzheimer's, okay? That's one other thing that I do. Yeah, she lives with me, and I take care of her. How could I not? This woman birthed me. But, and I saw this, sleep. If you don't get enough sleep, at least 8 hours, if you're getting 7 or less, you're having a problem. 7, and people are like, what? 8? I can't do 8. Well, if you want to lose your brain cells, you can do whatever you want. Because it really does. I saw this happen to my mother. There's toxins in your brains that when you sleep, there's a fluid that is released. It flushes those toxins out of your brain and then into your lymphatic system and then out of your body. That's how it works. If you don't sleep, you won't get that. There is one other thing, and this is number 4, that acts like sleep as far as getting rid of the toxins in your brain. Does anybody know what it is? Yes, meditation. Who meditates in here? Who tries and is unsuccessful? That's okay. That's okay. This is a practice that you have to work on. If you're not sure, go get an app. There's a lot of things. There's classes now that do meditation. But it's really important. It does take the place of antidepressants and a little bit of sleep, okay? And it will keep you calm. There's so much I could spend the whole time talking about meditation, which I teach at my studio as well. But we'll get into that later. The last thing, and this is really important, and this is what women are really bad at, is doing one thing for yourself a day. Like I call it a feel good. Because that's your self-care, okay? We talk about self-love and self-care. You hear this word. I'm not a big fan. What does that mean? I love myself. What does that mean? It's you're showing the world, by the way, that you care about yourself. Because if you don't show the world that you care about yourself, who's gonna care about you? If you don't show yourself that, you're not gonna get it from anyone else. Whether it's like just giving yourself a long bath, a massage, just even reading a book that you really like, watching like a movie that you like, a little bit of time, something for yourself, one thing a day. So those are the 5 things. So I always tell everybody, listen, if you feel like you're going down a rabbit hole and you're starting your business and you're getting extremely stressed out, because stress, by the way, is the biggest killer right now. And you ask any doctor, they'll tell you that. You gotta get something to get this stress you gotta get it under control, because we all have it. So if you guys follow these things, if you feel like all of a sudden like, oh my God, I'm so stressed out, what can I do? Look at this list and pick like 1 or 2 things. Even 1 or 2 things on that list will change you, okay? So, look at me, I'm so proud of myself. 3 minutes. So, the one thing I wanna kind of circle back around to just really tell you guys, this is the women's time. This is our time. We have earned it. And this is really important. And listen up. We don't have to prove ourselves anymore. Get help, okay? So when you were starting your business, and one of the panelists was speaking, and they said, oh, I'm not good at this. And, oh, I'm gonna have to learn to be organized. Maybe you get some friend who's organized and have them help you. Seriously, you don't have to do everything. If you're good at that part, or if you're the creative one, maybe you bring someone in. Don't get stuck on trying to do everything yourself, because that's what happened to me, because you will fail. Because that's very small-minded thinking. Men don't do that. Men are like, who can I hire? How many people can we hire? So you guys need to start moving into that space. So this is really about taking care of yourselves, because you won't get very far if you don't feel well. You won't get very far if you don't take care of this vessel in your heart. Because then you'll feel alone, tired, depressed, and not like you want to get up every day. So look at me, I have 1 minute. So I will tell you one thing. What I do in my studio is I do a lot of, my privates now are geared towards this. Like, people call me a life coach. I got all kind of different names. Like, I'm body psychic, because I do a lot of healing with people. I have a lot of people that are sick because I've been there, and I help them on the road to recovery. I can usually tell what's going on with you physically. So if you guys, what I'm offering is, if anyone wants to contact me, I'm going to be probably doing live streams where I'm doing meditations and having like discussions, especially with women's groups. I'm going to give you my email really quick. It's rpmfitness@gmail.com. And if you email me, I'll put you on the list. And when I do, any free live streams or anything I do, you guys can jump in. Because you do have to find some support group for yourselves. And about if you are starting your business, because you will lose your mind if you don't have some support. Somebody there to kind of hold your hand with you and tell you that you can do it and it's okay. And to get some help. So look at that, 44 seconds. Anyway, this is a passion of mine because of what I went through, and when I was going through it, it was one of the hardest things I've ever gone through in my life. But now I know why, because I'm here to say that that's what my story was. And I'm not embarrassed to say it, but I want you to know, when I was sick, nobody knew. I was hiding it. I walked around like I wasn't. And I lied to all my clients and all my businesses because I didn't want to lose business. But it doesn't help. So take care of yourselves, the mindful part, the mental part, the meditation part. that really helps a lot. So make sure that you guys incorporate all this stuff when you start to open your business, and you will, if you feel good, you can do anything. Thank you guys.